Sometimes the best stories in golf aren't found on tour. You'll find them at the back of the range. And here's your host, Ben Adelberg.
Thank you again for joining me here at the back of the range. I'm your host, Ben Adelberg. This is episode 28. Hope that everyone had a fun 4th of July for people here in the United States. As you all know, the 4th fell on a Wednesday this year. Normally, we release our weekly episodes on a Wednesday. But that being said, while I know you're all enjoying this podcast, it's hard to compete with fireworks, hot dogs, and excessive amounts of alcohol. Therefore, we took the day off yesterday, but now we're ready to move forward with a very exciting episode. It's a bit of a first for us, actually. I'll explain that a little bit later. By the way, if you want to learn more about this podcast, where you can find and download all the episodes, head over to thebackoftherange.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're everywhere. You'll find that information in the show notes of this episode. So at the beginning of each and every episode so far, you've heard our friend Mitch Phillips say, sometimes the best stories aren't found on tour. Well, this week's guest is actually on the PGA Tour. Our guest this week is PGA Tour rookie Austin Cook. Austin played collegiately at the University of Arkansas, and then he made his way through the mini tours, and he captured early success in Monday qualifiers and won the RSM Classic this year in only his 4th tournament as a full-time member of the PGA Tour. We spoke about his start in golf, life on the tour, and the charities like the St. Jude Children's Hospital that he tirelessly supports. So, Austin, greatly appreciate the time. Thanks for joining me here at the back of the range.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
No, absolutely. So we were speaking a little bit before we started recording this episode, and we talked a little bit, obviously, about the U.S. Open at Shinnecock Hills. Unfortunately, you're not there to play in your 2nd consecutive major, but I have a slightly outside-the-box hypothetical question for you. If this event was not run by the USGA and it wasn't a major, it was just the Shinnecock Invitational with all that weather and the speed of those greens and the course setup. Being, I think you know where I'm going here with this, but being someone that's a winner on the PGA Tour that can set his own schedule, are you putting this one on your calendar?
Probably not.
Okay. All right.
No, I don't look forward to going to courses just to beat myself up.
Okay.
But I will say that extremely hard golf courses, I feel like I do well on because statistics may not show it, but I'm pretty straight off the tee box.
Sure.
And, I usually hit the ball generally where I'm looking. So, I don't have a whole lot of speed. So the ball doesn't produce a whole lot of spin. So it doesn't go that far offline, typically. And, but this would be one that I would definitely consider taking off.
Okay. Well, and I'm assuming if you're saying that, that's not going to be a too outside the box comment from some of your other colleagues on the PGA Tour. Just if it's not a major, this just doesn't look very fun. Yeah,
exactly. But some guys would look at it as an opportunity to win. I mean, every week is still an opportunity to win.
Sure.
And, to increase your points or whatever. But I think depending on where it fell on the schedule, there would probably be a good chance that I would take it off.
So we kind of start these episodes just kind of getting an idea of how each person got into the game of golf. I know that you have a lot of family that's in and around the game, but just briefly, can you let us know how you started playing and how the game was introduced to you as a child?
Yeah, definitely. My dad is the one who introduced me to the game. They gave me plastic clubs when I was like 2 years old. He'd take me out to the golf course with him, and I'd ride around in the cart and get out and hit my little plastic ball about 10 feet, and
Sure.
He'd pick it up, and I'd get back in the cart, and we'd go to the next shot. But he got introduced to the game from his father. My grandfather played professional golf. He played on the PGA Tour a little bit. I think he played about 70 events or so in the 60s and 70s. He was a club pro in Minneapolis at a few different courses throughout his career. And so that's kind of how the game got introduced to our family and then introduced to myself.
And your grandfather's name, I have it in my notes here. His name's John. So, John Cook.
Yeah,
I mean,
John Cook.
okay, so
Unfortunately, it's not the John Cook.
no, to you, he is the John Cook.
He is a John
yeah,
Cook.
but like when you're out there, I mean, how many times have you are you related to John Cook? I mean, I'm sure you get that all the time, right?
Surprisingly, I haven't got it a whole lot at all.
Okay. All right.
I think.
Well, he's California. He's kind of a California
John
guy too.
Cook, yeah, and just they're like, oh yeah, you're not related.
Wait, no, watch me hit a ball. Maybe you'll think.
Yeah.
So,
but no, that's actually I've never thought about that. But yeah, no, I haven't got that a whole lot at all.
Okay, interesting. All right, so,
Mm-hmm.
so you make it over to you go to school at University of Arkansas. And
I did.
You study biology, and you're pulling down pretty good grades, just right around a 4.0.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my question is, a lot of college students that are getting into college golf, they're immediately thinking, okay, I'm going to the PGA Tour. This is what I definitely want to do. But that really wasn't the case for you, was it?
I definitely wanted to be on the PGA Tour. I didn't have confidence in my skill level.
Okay.
And I always knew that I didn't want to be that guy who's still, I mean, good for the guys who are doing it.
Right.
But I didn't want to personally be the guy who's 30 years old and still trying to make it on tour.
You wanted to know as quickly as possible, hey, is this going to work or is this not?
Exactly.
Okay.
And I wanted to, because I did. I wanted to be, married, in my mid-20s and hopefully have kids by 30 and, that kind of thing in life. And I wanted to be able to provide for them and, the best way that I could. And I didn't want to still be chasing many tours when I was 30. And, but, I'm not dogging on the guys who are doing that and still chasing their dream. That was just my personal belief. And, going into college, I didn't really win anything big, no big amateur events. I never won in college. But after college, something just kind of started clicking, and I started playing really good golf and realizing that my steady finishes and consistency in college really pays off whenever you get out here and you start playing for money.
Yeah.
And so, soon after college, I got into my first PGA event, which actually was Memphis, and made the cut on the number, and on the weekend I played great and finished T11 or T13. Oh crap, I don't remember. One of those for my first ever PGA event.
Sure.
And that was kind of answer for me saying, okay, this is what I can do this and I can play golf and compete against these guys. Now just how do I get to the PGA Tour?
Your way apparently, which is just incredible with your statistics at Monday qualifiers. So,
yeah.
I don't get that because you just explain to me the mentality that you have to go into to be successful at a Monday qualifier. Is it completely different than other realms of tournament golf, whether it's a 36-hole qualifier or you're, playing a regular web event? How do you go into that and say, forget about everything, I got to go crazy today and shoot 64?
Yeah. For me personally, when I had my game plan didn't really change a whole lot from, a tournament round to the Monday qualifying round. I still wanted to, hit the ball in the fairway, but my main objective was to get the ball on the green, or if I missed the green, just right there, next to the hole, and give myself the most amount of birdie opportunities that we can.
Sure.
Because the more opportunities, my percentage of converting them may go down, but the more opportunities, the more I'm going to make. And whether it's from 5 feet or it's 45 feet, or 50 feet, it's just getting myself on the green.
Sure.
And, in those qualifiers, it kind of frees you up to hit a little more aggressive shots because you're playing 120 guys for 4 spots, maybe even more guys than that. And you have to go low. So you're forced to try and go low. For, lack of better words.
Sure. So
it frees you up to kind of just try and pull off certain shots, get the ball a little closer to the hole, be a little more aggressive on your putting, you're not playing for money that day. So, if you run one 4 feet by and you miss the comebacker, well, you
wasn't meant to be.
So be it. Exactly. It's just not your day to make. But it's not like you're trying to two putt for $1 million.
Right.
So you try and jar it in the hole sometimes. Good confident strokes in your putting and your swinging, and just if you can get one birdie, try and get another, and just keep the ball rolling.
Sure. And before you got into Monday qualifiers, before you started going that route, you were on the mini tour for quite some time. So you turned pro in 2014, you played the Adams Tour.
Mm-hmm.
And now I know that you were, just by doing some of the research, you basically were kind of, I guess, funded in-house, so to speak, by family members. Is there extra pressure with that, or did you have the opportunity to get outside sponsors? I guess the reason I'm asking is because there's a lot of people that are, whether they're still in college or they're chasing it, and there's so many different ways to go about it, whether it's getting an outside sponsor, having family members, selling shares, so to speak, of your future earnings. Was there a conscious decision of how you were going to go about doing that?
So when I made the decision to start trying to play, my dad sat me down and he said, "Look, I don't want you to have to go out and basically sell yourself to people.
Sure.
I don't want you to have to split shares with anybody. Over the last few years, I knew this was coming, and I saved up a little money for you to get you started. And that way you don't have pretty much, so I don't have to worry about paying anybody back or, those relationships or anything like that." He said, "This is yours, do what you want with it. Obviously don't go buy a new car or something, put this to your golf." And I was, fortunate with having a father that did that for me. And then I was fortunate with, in June of 2014, getting out and making my own money in that PGA event.
Right.
And then I was able to, I never really dipped into the pot of my, that my father gave me, and I gave it back to him because then I could take care of myself.
Yeah.
At the time with money. But, even coming out, I think they helped me. My parents helped me with my first couple entry fees into the Adams events. And then I was able to make enough money to where I was covering my travel and covering my, entry fees and, from that money as well. But then when the PGA event happened, then I was really able to comfortably, and I didn't have to, need their help with that anymore. But, still at that point, I was still on their insurance and all that kind of stuff.
Right,
but the golf side of it, I was able to take care of myself.
I guess this kind of leads into another thing about, time management and handling your own career in the early days. Now you're a member of the PGA Tour, you're a winner on the PGA Tour, but starting out on the Adams Tour, I'm sure you don't have the team around you then that you have now. Just how hard is it for the day-to-day when you're on the mini tours, or you're early in your career, to balance, all right, I got to register, I got to travel, I got to find hotel and rental car, and I still have to pay bills at home. And I mean, speak to how hard that is when you're starting out.
The mini tours are just a grind as it is. I mean, you're going out, you're playing these guys who, a lot of them have been on the web in the past, and they're not playing this week, and they just want something to play in, or guys I've played with some guys who are ex-PGA players. I mean, there are really good players out there.
Yeah.
On some of those mini tours, and it's still not a cakewalk.
No.
So you're paying, depends on what tour, but I've heard numbers anywhere from $700 to $1,500 to get into an event, and if you make the cut but finish last, you may not make your money back. So it's and winners take home about $20,000 to $30,000. I mean, it's really tough just to make any kind of money out there. You still have to play really well. And, so you're driving everywhere because, you don't have the budget to fly and rent a car and do all that stuff. So you're driving, 8-10 hours between events. Most of the mini tours are kind of in sections of the United States. And so, like the one I played, the Adams Tour, was Texas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma, where most of the events were. And they were kind of where you could drive between them, and they were, fairly close to each other. But then, you have to worry about everything that's going on at home, the bills that you have there. I mean, it's luckily for me, balancing golf and studying for school in college really helped me learn time management and to kind of write things down and do kind of keep a checklist of things that I got to do. And I was able to stay somewhat organized. And but no, it is tough. It's the life we chose, but it's not glamorous at all on the mini tours.
No, I imagine it's just not glamorous. There's times when even being on the PGA Tour with all the travel you have to do, everyone sees that.
Everyone sees kind of how glamorous it is for the top 20 in the world or whatever. They are flying private from tournament to tournament, and they're staying in really nice houses week to week. But the guys who aren't, I mean, we're still with families at home and trying to still pinch dollars where we can. And, we're staying comfortably in hotels or whatever, but, we're flying, and every weekend we're flying, and, sometimes, not always in first, and, you're in coach and middle seats. I mean, especially when you miss the cut. Missing the cut on Friday is like middle seat Friday, it seems to be. It's usually the only ones that are left.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you put salt in the wound.
Well, no, that's I whenever I fly, I love to get an aisle seat, so I can't imagine when you get the last dibs and you're just and of course now you have to give me a story about being in the middle seat and being sat next to some guy that looks at you like, hey, don't I know you from somewhere? And I'm sure because didn't I just see you on TV or something like that? I mean, can you give me one of the worst middle seat stories after missing a cut of a tournament?
Fortunately, nobody's done that, but I've landed in Memphis. That's where I usually fly out of.
Sure.
On a Friday night, and walking through the Memphis airport, I've been, hey, Austin, what are you doing here? I was like, really?
Oh,
you know what I'm doing here? I missed the cut. I've gotten that a few times. Like, I get back home, back to Jonesboro and go out to the course on Saturday. They're like, I thought you were playing.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I was playing. You're right. You evidently didn't pay attention. I missed the cut.
Wow. Talk about hometown kid getting the love and support from his local community. Right.
Exactly.
Man, they need to follow you a little bit more on Instagram and Twitter. We'll take care of that too when this podcast gets out.
That works.
Yeah. Don't say anything friendly to Austin Cook on a Saturday morning at a golf course if it's not on TV. So, man, so you're. So let's move past the mini tours and let's talk about some fun stuff on the PGA Tour. You're not the prototypical bomber, as you just pretty much said. You drive it straighter than you'll probably admit, so your stats are pretty damn good as far as hitting fairways. But you pick up this win in I guess it's your fourth official start as a member of the PGA Tour. We're going to talk about that victory, but how important is it for a player like yourself to be able to get that win? You're exempt. You have 2 years. How important is it to be able to pick courses that fit your game? Do you sit down with a team and run analytics on courses? Like, how cerebral do you get, and how do you treat that process so that you're set up to play the best courses for your game?
Not quite like Bryson.
Okay. Wow.
I don't.
That was
I don't,
totally unprompted. That's amazing. Oh, we're gonna have some
I don't
fun.
have my I'm not running formulas or anything. I think that the most analytical we get is I asked my caddy. Kip Henley is my caddy, and he was on tour for 11 years with Brian Gay, and my game is very similar to Brian's. With I hit it a little bit further than he does, but besides that, we play very similar styles of golf. And I really rely on him and other caddies that are, his friends or my friends, just like, hey, Kip, of these four, I want to take a break in one of these four. Which one fits our game the least? Okay. Or which one would be the best one for us to take off? And we talk about it, and, most of these golf courses I haven't been to. So this year we are trying to play a little bit more events than I would like to, just to see more golf courses.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of pick and choose next year based on what, my own opinion, not somebody else's opinion. And so, like these next few weeks, Travelers, Quicken Loans, Greenbrier, and John Deere. I didn't want to play all four of those in a row. So we kind of talked to a couple other people, and came to the decision that the course for the Quicken Loans this year would probably be the best one for us to take off. So
Right.
that's the one that we're going to skip this year, and we're going to play Travelers, Greenbrier, and John Deere, and see if we can work our way into the British Open.
Nice. So interesting. So you're kind of using the privileges that you get from being a winner on the PGA Tour. You're as a rookie, you're kind of using that as a way to get into as many tournaments as you want to, and use that for future knowledge of saying, okay, let's go try this one. Let's see how the course sets up, and even if it doesn't work out, I miss the cut. I maybe I do make the cut or whatever, but it's more of a learning experience to say, okay, this is one I need to put on the calendar in the next 5 years, 10 years. This one really fit or this one, that's not really for me. So
yes, exactly.
Okay, that's okay. Interesting.
Very much. But there's a fine line between that because, we obviously would like to be the top 50 in the world.
Sure.
Because if you get in that category, you get all the WGCs and everything.
Yep.
So it's, and the way that the World Golf Rankings work is they take the amount of events you've played the last 2 years, the amount of points you've accumulated, and divided it by the amount of tournaments that you have played. Well, at this point, my divisor is very high. That's why you see guys who come straight from college who haven't played any World Golf Ranking tournaments, and they play well really quick. Well, and they earn a lot of points really quick. Well, that's why they're way up in, the world rankings. There's a mathematical system behind it.
Yeah.
Guys who come off the web I was out there for 2 whole years. Well, my divisor is the highest that it can be, and the amount of world golf points that I've earned is small as well because there's not a whole lot of points on the web. And then so this year we're trying to play enough events to give ourselves a great chance to get to East Lake, but limit them to where we can start getting our divisor down the next few years to where, when we win again, we'll be able to jump the world ranking points more than we did this last time with the win in Sea Island.
Yeah. So, and it sounds like the person that the poster child for this formula situation is John Rahm.
Yes, he did a great job with it. Obviously, but most of those guys who get the starts out of college, they're incredibly talented guys.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't get handed the wins. He won like 4 or 5 times last year.
Oh,
so,
of course, but just
he still has great capability and talent, but it's easier to jump the world golf rankings whenever you've only played 20 tournaments, that earn world golf points.
So you win at the RSM in Sea Island. This is your first victory. It's your 4th tournament since getting your card. You win by 4. You never saw the golf course on Friday. You never saw it and shot 62. How you doing that?
Okay, there's a little backstory behind it.
Yeah, help me out with that one.
We played there in college for SECs every year. So our SEC championships, our conference championship was held at the Sea Island golf course every year. So I did play it for 4 years, previous to coming.
Okay.
So I had, I think, 16 rounds on it.
Okay.
But the week of, I didn't realize that booking my schedule that it was 2 golf courses that we played, and we were coming from Mexico, and we were flying over on Monday instead of late Sunday night, and we got to Georgia at about 10 o'clock at night on Monday, and I wasn't in the Pro-Am on Wednesday, so we played the golf course that I hadn't seen on Tuesday and just relied on, Kip's memory and my memory to play Sea Island.
Yeah. So, and obviously you win that thing by 4. I actually remember watching that and I'm just like, man, this guy ain't going anywhere. He's just not cracking at all. And just every single hole just seems like another fairway, another green, either make a putt or tap in for par. And then I guess one of the questions I have for you is, when did it really sink in that, hey, I can win out here? You've been through these Monday qualifiers. You had great success on the web. Do you remember a specific time, whether at a qualifier on the web, that it really hit you, said, yeah, I can do this?
I think when it hit me that I could have a career out here, I just have to get here was my first ever event, through Memphis.
Okay.
In 2014, finishing how I did, I was like, okay, I know that these guys don't play as great of golf all the time as you think they do.
Right.
You know, on TV, they're always showing highlights. And so seeing it first person, like I said, everybody's a great player out here, but they just they're not playing incredibly caliber golf every day. And everybody will get hot for a couple weeks or, have a few great rounds, but they kind of, not necessarily fizzle off, but just kind of slow down a little bit for a couple weeks. You go through a slump, and then you come back. But then the next year in 2015, whenever I played, I had, I think, 7 events that year and a couple top 10s with those, I've realized that, I can really actually compete out here. And, yes, I finished, 6th or 7th or whatever I did, but I know 4 shots that I just threw away, and I clean up my, my game just a little bit, then I could be a winner out here.
Yeah.
And I think 2015 is when I really, really, really knew that once I get to the PGA Tour, I have a good chance of playing really well and competing week in and week out, and could possibly win.
That'll definitely make it clear if you're getting a top 10 in your first ever event. You've mentioned your caddy, Kip Henley. He's been around for quite some time. That's not an age joke on Kip Henley. I don't want him coming after me on Twitter or anything, but how did you get hooked up with Kip, and speak to the importance of having a veteran caddy as a rookie, especially a guy that caddied for Brian Gay, as you said, similar game. I mean, can you speak to the importance of Kip Henley?
So Kip, he used to be a club pro. Kip
Yeah.
did, in Tennessee, and one of the local club pros in Jonesboro, Arkansas, was an assistant in his little group that they had. I think they were managing a few different courses, and he was an assistant pro at one of the courses, and they worked together. And he knew that Kip was between bags, and he was like, "Hey, Austin, you want me to just call him and see if he wants to talk, and y'all kind of hook up?" I was like, "Yeah, that's fine. I don't have anything else, any other leads right now on a veteran caddy." So we called, we got in touch with each other. Certain things that he said whenever we were on the phone, I really appreciated and really liked. He's been with a veteran for 11 years. Veterans typically pay a little bit more than rookies do or can, and he was willing, to come off of that a little bit. What he had been making the past few years, as long as I agreed, when we played better, to increase his pay a little bit.
Sure.
And that was something that I really appreciated, because I've seen some guys say, "No, this is my price, take it or leave it. I'm not, willing to work with you." So I appreciated that aspect of it, and that kind of helped me believe that he's not out here, not trying to take advantage of, my situation, and,
Right.
and he's, trying to be a team player with that. And, I really appreciated that. And he came to the first event, we missed the cut. And he had been rinsed the last couple of years at that golf course. He was like, "Oh no, that's going to be 3 years in a row." And, I didn't want to do that, because it was, it's hard to get a connection with somebody in one event, and, you're still trying to figure each other out.
Of course.
And then we went on and we made the next, 7 cuts that we played together, and had a win on the 8th one. So, and then that's kind of how we got hooked up. And then, the importance of having a guy that's been in certain situations. I think, I played so well that week that I probably could have won with somebody else.
No, don't say that out loud. Kip might be listening to this. It's all because of Kip.
No. But having his expertise out there, and I say that because I played so well. I mean, I hit.
Right.
It was just such great ball striking for me that week. But him and I, we read greens together, and we were reading them the same that week. And then trying to figure how to manage our way around the golf course. He'd been on that golf course plenty of times. I had been on that course a few times, so we were able to really just synced that week.
Yeah.
And things just kind of went in our favor. He was dead. It was a difference between a rookie or a younger caddy and a veteran caddy, or just not necessarily what they say, it's how they say it.
Of course.
Like last week in Memphis, we were struggling getting the ball to the hole a few times, or on putts that obviously are downhill, they're down grain, they're going to be really fast. Kip hasn't had luck in his career saying, "Hey, boss, it's fast. Just be careful with that." Usually, when he says that, I leave it short.
Sure.
And we were on the putting green, and he asked Phil Mickelson. He said, "Hey, do you like it when guys say, hey, look, it's fast. Be careful."
Right.
And Phil goes, it depends on when and how you say it. If I've already read the putt and I'm about to hit the putt, and you go, "Last second, don't forget it's fast," that's the inappropriate time to say it.
Of course.
He goes, "Now I don't mind it whenever I am in the process of reading my putt and I'm still trying to figure out the putt, and you say that, and then I have time to kind of add that into
you're still gathering
the
information.
equation or whatever that you have in your mind." Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so difference between great caddies and good caddies are just really when they say things and how they say it, not necessarily what the meaning is behind it.
Right.
So to have him out there, it was very comforting. Especially Sea Island. Whenever he first signed on, I never prepared for a tournament thinking that I could win, or expecting to win, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
He, it almost made me uncomfortable the first few times. We're on the golf course, and he's like, it was every week, and he was like, "Oh, we're gonna win this week," and just getting that thought in my mind, like, "Oh, we're gonna win. We're gonna do this. We're gonna win." I'm like, "Why are you saying that? Like, no, let's not think about that,
Yeah.
And lo and behold, 8 tournaments into us being together, I won. It was a little bit different mindset that I'd ever had, going into an event. Usually I'm like, "Oh, I just want to make the cut and finish up high," and that's a good chunk of change, and that's a good week. No, so changing our mindset, getting it more into winner's mentality, instead of just being there just to play in the event.
Right. Well, it's the same thing. If you aim for first place and you end up in 10th, great, but don't aim for 25th or 30th. Then you'll find yourself on that cut line or below it, and
Exactly.
Right. So
don't play to make the cut, play to win the tournament.
Absolutely. All right, so you've said great things about Kip Henley, how he has really, helped you with your mindset on tour and help you around courses that he has experience on that you may not. We don't want to say too many nice things to inflate his ego a little bit. So give me a marginally embarrassing story about your caddy Kip Henley that he's not going to be too upset to hear about on a podcast.
Oh man!
And if you need time to weigh the options and run some analytics, call Bryson. Come up with a good story. You let me know. But yeah, give me one. Just like, really, dude, really.
Man, I'm gonna have an issue with this.
This could be the hardest question. Well, is it because you can't find one, or is that you have 15 and you got to pick the right one?
No, I'm sure there's a couple of them out there. We've had all sorts of, funny times in a practice round or something, but I don't remember anything that he.
Okay, well, what about it? Well,
goofed on.
Yeah, well, tell me about practice rounds. There's I think it was Golf Digest had some issue or story, or they had some story about all the money games that go on Tuesdays, and if you're in Phil's inner circle with Ricky and all that stuff. But give me an idea what your practice rounds are like. Do you look for veterans to play practice rounds with? Do you have your own kind of a set game or a set group? Give me an idea what your typical practice round dynamic looks like.
So typically for me, we play on Tuesdays, and I just try and get out there fairly early in the morning. Sometimes I'll make a game, schedule one or get one set up on Monday. But usually it's, show up, Tuesday morning, and if somebody's out there to play with, fine. If not, then, we're going. And I need to be done by, a certain time on Tuesday for, an interview or, an appearance, or because I want to go do something in the afternoon or something like that. But, yes, if there's a veteran out there, I definitely like to try and play with them, or playing in a group and, having a little game going. It's, that's always fun as well. And, I do have a somewhat group that I do like to play with. Andrew Landry is a really good friend. David Lingmer's is a really good friend. I played with David. Andrew was a graduate or left in 2009, and I came in 2009, and
Right.
he kind of stuck around. We were on the Adams tour together. So there's some guys that, I do really enjoy playing with. And we've played some practice rounds with some veteran guys that I really enjoy playing with those guys. It's just easier to text a buddy and say, hey, you want to show up at 8 a.m? Let's go about 9:00. Yes. Okay, cool. See you then. So that's about, the extent of me asking people to play or whatever. I won't go up to somebody on, Sunday night and see them, or Monday morning when I see them and say, hey, do you want to play tomorrow at, X, Y, certain time?
Sure.
The only time that we did that was at the Masters, and we tried asking a couple people. We got there on Friday, and we're like, hey, this week, if you're going out to play 9 and you have a spot for one more guy, let us know. We'd like to play with you. And, one of those was Jason Day.
Yep.
And so just to try and, play with a veteran at that course, to see what they see in the golf course and how they navigate, that kind of thing.
Are you, being a rookie, being early on in your PGA career, are you going out there for those practice rounds more so as learning the course and just getting as much work done as you can, or are you trying to keep it light and play for a couple bucks just to keep it interesting, or what's your mindset at this point of your career going into practice rounds?
It really depends on the golf course. Augusta, obviously, I was really trying to learn a lot.
Sure.
And figure things out. Most golf courses and tournaments, I just like to see the golf course. I just want to see all the holes. I do a little bit of chipping or a little bit of lag putting, but there's no guarantee that you're going to hit it in that spot or, be in that situation. I just try and get a good feel for the conditions of the golf course, the rough length and chipping out of that, the bunkers, coming out of those. But I just really want to just see every hole and kind of see what's all around the green or what's all around the hole. I do like to play, a little game with some guys just that way I don't, I think that's one thing I will say about Kip and myself is we suck at practice rounds.
That's okay.
I don't hit the ball great. I'm not focused. So if you play a little bit of a game with somebody, then you focus a little bit more.
Yeah.
He is all over the map during a practice round. I'm not focused in hitting, shots like I want to. Well, he's, not getting the pins. And I'm like, hey, Kip, I need a ball. He's like, oh, something new we're doing. Yeah. Yeah, we play with a golf ball. So I think if I have anything to say about Kip and myself, then it's we really are terrible at practice rounds. But once that flag goes up, we both focus in and we're good to go.
There you go.
But no, I just like to go out and see the golf course. If the practice round's slow and we have 3 holes to go, I'll be like, Kip, you can go in. I'm just going to walk these 3 holes. I'm tired of it's on hour 6 and we've only gotten through 15 holes. I'm done with this. So, practice rounds for me are just to see the course. There are guys who really like to put the hole down where all the pins are going to be. I'm like, if I can get a gist for the greens, that's great. But come Thursday, the wind can be complete opposite and you're hitting completely different clubs into holes. Every day they move the tees to different spots, the pins in a different location. Every day the conditions are different. So I'm not worried about, I need to hit driver off this tee box, or I have to, hit 3-wood, or, this is a par hole, or because it could change every day. So I'm more about, this is where we would like to get it to in the fairway at this length. So on Thursday, we'll hit whatever we need to get here. Not necessarily we have to hit driver here or something like that.
Right. So, but you mentioned the Masters, you picking up that win at RSM gets you into the Masters this year. And I'm sure that you've been asked, and I could ask all the typical questions of, what was it like when you got the card in the mail, and what was Magnolia Lane like? Let's just assume that you're over the moon with that, and we can move on to one of the questions I really wanted to ask. You missed the cut, which, hey, you're a rookie. It's your first time there. There's so much to learn at Augusta National. But if I didn't look closely and just saw, okay, MC, that's it. But you had the opening group on Thursday morning, and you were with Wesley Bryan, and you were with
Ted Potter Jr.
Yeah, you're with Ted Potter Jr. and Wesley Bryan. You're the opening group. You birdie your first hole, but let's go back to before that tee shot. You're literally right there 15 or 20 minutes after the honorary starters. Were you there when Nicklaus and Player hit their opening shot?
I was there, but I could not see.
Okay.
So I was walking from the clubhouse through the sea of people to the putting green to do my last minute putting before I go play, and I heard the last tee ball be whacked, and the clapping, and I just couldn't see him, and I was a little bummed about that.
Okay.
That I couldn't see him, but I was there in spirit, and I was attempting to be there. They hit the tee balls a little sooner than I thought they were.
Okay.
They hit it about 15, 20 minutes before our tee time, not 10 minutes.
Right.
And which there's that's fine.
Sure.
I was just thinking that they were going to still be there and introduce them whenever we were putting 20 yards away.
But that had to have probably been the most unique start to a tournament. Forget the fact that it's the Masters, but you just look over and you didn't see him hit him, but yeah, that's Nicklaus and Player right there.
Well, it was awesome, and most of those people stuck around to watch the first tee shot as well for the actual tournament.
Oh, that's an extra bit of fun for you in your first tee shot.
Yeah, so all these people are here, and I stripe it right down the middle. Hit a 7-iron up there, great, and make the putt to have the lead in the Masters, and it all went downhill from there.
Oh, come on! I mean, so for
as far as play goes,
yeah, exactly. So I guess I could ask a lot of questions about the typical first experience at the Masters, and everyone says how hilly and undulating it is. Other than the play, just being on site, is there anything that you can think of to mention that most people would not have any idea about Augusta National or about the Masters?
The security.
Okay.
I expected, it to be high, but it was really high. They do a good job there.
For players trying to get in, or for the patrons?
Well, everything.
Or? Okay.
I guess people trying to get in. For us pulling it down Magnolia Lane, there was, 2 checkpoints for us to go through. So we had to get our badges scanned twice, or looked at twice. They have those big 12-inch beams or pillars that come in and out of the ground to where you can't drive your car, and you got to wait for them to go down. It was just how secure they had it there, and just then to get in to eat or certain places of the clubhouse. But rightfully so. It's the Masters, and people are going to try and abuse the system. But the security, and then along with that is just the hospitality. Everybody was so great there. So nice. All the volunteers and all the workers at Augusta National. From the waiters and waitresses to the people in the pro shop. They were all great and very helpful.
You're playing in your first Masters. You're a rookie. What's the most random ticket request that you received? I'm sure once you got that win, everyone knows where you're going in April. All of a sudden your phone just is blowing up, and you got way more friends than you ever thought you knew you had, right?
Yeah. There was a couple of them, but it wasn't nearly as bad as many people as I was expecting. I think a lot of people understood that between myself and my wife's family, we got a lot of people that we had to take care of,
sure.
And I wasn't going to be able to do anything for anybody else.
Just to kind of wrap things up, you're a rookie on the PGA Tour, but you've made tremendous strides with your charity work. You're a recent ambassador for St. Jude Hospital. You just had, gosh, that's a kind of a dream start to that relationship, and then you back it up with a T6 at the tournament itself. You have the relationship with them. How did that come to be? And tell me what you're doing for St. Jude.
Yeah, so it's with us. We're in Northeast Arkansas. We're an hour from pretty much the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So I've known many people or multiple people from home who have gone over there because they have cancer, or their child has cancer and they need treatment. And so I've seen a lot of people firsthand who St. Jude's has benefited and helped. And, their whole cause and what they do, for the families and everybody, where nobody pays a single dime, who are coming in for treatment. The family doesn't, pay anything. St. Jude covers it all. Not only having the relief of financially, and accommodating all, the family and everything whenever the kid comes in for treatment, but also having such a high success rate nowadays, and all the research they have done into curing these certain cancers and finding treatments for them. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And, the strides that they have made in the medical field. And it's such, one day their goal is to have 100% curable rate. And, until that day comes, we need St. Jude. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they still need, money to be able to cover the cost of it. One day, I think, is over $1 million that they need for just one day to run the hospital. And it's definitely over $1 million. And so just being so close to St. Jude, and it's being such a great relationship for a lot of people that I know personally, it was something that I really wanted to get behind and support. At home, there was a family who lost a child in the 8th grade to a very rare form of brain cancer. And she had a brain tumor, and to this day, it's still one of those that they haven't found a cure for.
Yeah.
And so this family, they started this St. Jude Super Bowl extravaganza. So it's a big Super Bowl party that we have. And, we bring in 20 to 30 big rotisserie smokers. And we grill ribs and chicken and sausage. And we usually have a group come up and do crawfish. And we have a live auction and a silent auction, and then the ticket sales. And between all the stuff that's donated and the ticket sales and the price, what people pay for the live auction and silent auction, all the proceeds go to the St. Jude. And I think over the 25 years that we've had this event, we have now donated over $5 million, if I'm not inaccurate.
Wow.
I think it's over $5 million to St. Jude, which, over 25 years, you're going, okay, that's not a whole lot. But coming from Jonesboro, Arkansas, and just what they have done, this family has done for the hospital, I mean, it's an unbelievable accomplishment. And I'm happy to be a part of it.
That's great. That's that's one of the best charities out there, and rightfully so. And that's fantastic that you're getting involved with a charity like that so early in your career. I mean, you're trying to get your feet wet. You're trying to make a living, and you're still giving back. So that's fantastic. So you're also a not to laugh about this, but one of the other charities, or one of the other you're an ambassador for Manuka Doctor. I've never heard of this, and then I did some research on it, and you kind of met this doctor when you're on Necker Island hanging out with Richard Branson. All right.
Yeah,
and I've looked on your Instagram, I've done my research, and there's you and your wife hanging out with Richard Branson. Explain to me the dynamic of, a kid that went to school at Arkansas, and you're on Necker Island hanging with Sir Richard Branson, who, I mean, he's, Virgin Air and Virgin Records, and I even think he owns extra virgin olive oil. I mean, he just, anything that says virgin, he runs that. So explain the dynamic of hanging out with him, and what is that guy like?
Yeah. So, I guess about a week before the event was to be held a couple of years ago, one of the guys pulled out from coming, one of the golfers.
Sure.
And I got a phone call. My manager called and, had a relationship with these people already and pitched my name, and they're like, yeah, let's bring them. And so myself and my wife got to go down and, we met this group, the Manuka Doctor group. They were the title sponsor of the event, and they were there for the golf side of it. There's a golf side of this, and there's a tennis side of it.
Sure.
And, Richard on his island has a couple artificial grass tennis courts. So all these guys come down there or people, men and women, come down to play and, have tennis clinics and a tennis pro-am and just hang out. And, Richard's Island has one rule, and that's pretty much just to have fun. And so, we went down there for this, and, we went the first day to Puerto Rico, played 18 holes, and then we go over, the golf group goes over to the island to hang out for the rest of the week. And we do these skills challenges around the island because he doesn't have, any type of golf course on that island. And so, we'll do our skills challenge in the morning, and the afternoon is pretty much, have fun, do what you want. There's all these celebrities and famous tennis pros and, very well-known business people at this thing. And then obviously Richard Branson, and, he was very accommodating and very nice. And, it was, he's very busy that week because
Sure.
he's kind of bouncing all over. The times that we got to talk to him, he's very nice. He was awesome to talk to. You saw probably for some of the pictures, he was, into taking some goofy pictures.
Oh yeah.
And, we just had it's just a magical island. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful all around there.
Nice little perk, right?
Yeah, exactly. Half of the island, he doesn't want to touch because he's a big humanitarian.
Yeah.
Saving the species, doing all this. They have golf balls that we hit out into the ocean that turn into fish food.
You're sure. Yeah.
And it was such a cool experience. And that kind of started the relationship with these Manuka Doctor guys. And the next year they invited us back because they were the title sponsor again, and them and myself had a little bit of a relationship. And we got to go back this last year, but his island and the surrounding islands were destroyed by the hurricanes.
Yeah.
So we went to the Bahamas and to Baja Mar this last year.
Yeah. You're also an ambassador for Oakley, and speaking
Mm-hmm.
of someone that I wear sunglasses, whenever I'm outside, and I've been wearing Oakley glasses for forever. But I remember when I was playing my high school golf and my college golf, and this is going to definitely show my age. And by the way, I'm quite a bit older than you, but I remember seeing David Duval wearing the Oakley wraparounds and just thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I remember
he had they came to the point on the side.
Exactly. Just the face shield of Oakley, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I think I still have one of those lying around somewhere, and I can't even believe it. People would wear stuff like that, just like a welding shield. But you have that, and then I just remember when Freddie was doing his thing in the 90s, just Ashworth just looked like the coolest thing ever. But when and I guess my question and what I'm getting to is, you're ambassador for Oakley. How excited were you when that thing was coming to pass? I mean, did you just wear Oakleys all the time in high school and junior and college golf? I mean, how did that whole situation come to pass, and how excited were you when you became an ambassador for Oakley?
Yeah, that's definitely the glasses that I've always worn.
Right.
Athletic glasses on the golf course, or any other sport that I was doing, baseball. Definitely was Oakley's all the way.
Yeah.
And this year, I'd met, they come out to tournaments and provide guys with glasses, to about, probably say like every 5 tournaments or something. They're out there.
Sure.
The big ones, Oakley's there. And so I had a little bit of a relationship with, just meeting a couple of the guys and getting glasses from them over the last couple of years. But this year, meeting Al, and kind of some of the group and looking for clothes, and they were very interested in me as well. And they sent me some gear, and it fits so well, and I mean it feels great.
Yeah.
I love the pants because they're a little slimmer fitting, but they're still very stretchy. So, I mean, there's no restriction in them or anything. And they have a lot of great shirts and designs. And, when they first sent me the first shipment of a few things, I was like, yeah, as a trial run, I was like, yeah, this is what I want because, it fits great. It looks great. And they're a great company and, a big company. So, being able to be with those guys and hopefully have a long relationship with them, I really look forward to it. And, maybe we can get a little Austin Cook line or something going.
There you go. Yeah, I'm still
before long.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to hear back from them on the Back of the Range Golf podcast line. I'm sure it's coming right after the Austin Cook line. I know it's next on their list of things to do.
Yeah,
size 36 is mine, by the way. Anyway, so we're gonna move to the quick bucket. It's a little quick section before we get you out of here. Just some random questions. It's a little bit different because most of the people that I'm interviewing are not currently on the PGA Tour. So this one, I'm not sure how this one's going to go, but
okay.
I've asked this question to just about every single guest. So Jack Nicklaus won the Masters in 1986 at the age of 46. Compare that victory to a potential fifth green jacket of Tiger Woods. Which would be the more substantial victory?
I think at this moment, Tiger, because of what he's gone through in the middle of his career.
Yeah.
I think that would be a bigger win for Tiger.
Okay. We're going to skip the second question because it's if you can give a major to anyone in history. And, normally I say you can't choose yourself, but damn it, you can choose yourself for that. So,
oh, yeah, I can definitely choose myself.
Yeah. I was wondering how these questions were going to go. I was like, well, he better say himself. If not, we got a problem there. But so the other question I just kind of wanted to ask you, and most tour players in interviews, when you see them talking about what they want to accomplish in their careers, they want to obviously win often. They want to win majors, want to be the best player in the world. You've been on tour for a bit and you've seen the reality of what those top 20 guys, 15 guys, you've seen the reality of what their life is like. I know you want the trophies, but do you want to be as identifiable as the guys up there like Rory and DJ, or do you want the trophies but still want to be anonymous? What kind of career as far as off the course are you looking for?
Oh man, yeah. What those guys go through and how they kind of have to tiptoe around life outside of golf, just because of not necessarily tiptoe but kind of hide.
Yeah.
It's tough. With what they're doing in life, comes a lot of money, but there's a lot of freedom in what they do get hassled a lot with, pictures or not necessarily hassled, but they get asked a lot for pictures and autographs and their time and this and that. And, that would be tough. But, if it came from, me playing great golf and being able to give back and stuff, then I would love to do that.
No, that's a very fair and honest and very realistic answer. Well, Austin, I can't thank you enough for the time. Best of luck to you the rest of the season. I know you're working hard to get into the British Open. It's at Carnoustie. I've played Carnoustie. What do you know about Carnoustie before I let you go?
Not a whole lot.
Okay.
I don't know a whole lot about any of those courses over there.
Well, I hope you get over there. It's going to be it'll be a great test and a great challenge. Again, thank you so much for joining us here at the Back of the Range. We'll follow you. We wish you the best the rest of the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And there you have it. Another great episode here at the Back of the Range. Special thanks to Austin Cook. Wish him the best of luck this weekend at the Greenbrier. Remember, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're everywhere. And if you'd like to get some Back of the Range merchandise, maybe a towel or a hat, shoot me an email, ben@thebackoftherange.com. I'll see what I can do for you. In the meantime, I hope you all have a great week. We'll see you again next time here at the Back of the Range.